Hi, I'm Pete Marin with Airbrush Events. You're watching one of 13 videos that I created on how I airbrush caps at events. Now, these videos were really created for my team, so you'll notice the language is directed towards them, but I wanted to share it with you and the rest of the internet. So please comment, like, and subscribe, and feel free to use the designs. Okay, design number 8. This is supposed to emulate a tie-dye effect. So I see artists doing it multiple ways. I think they're all acceptable, but if you want to do it my way, this is how you do it. And they're doing strokes that look very similar to that. They're soft, they have soft ends. They're not dagger strokes, and they're not completely saturated like this. Leave some leave some transparency, I should say, to the stroke. That's what the strokes look like, but I just do it in a circle pattern. It doesn't matter if you go clockwise or counterclockwise, whatever's easiest for you. If you're still getting used to doing this design, you can do like a nice faded circle in blue to kind of give you a guide of where your lines should be. All right, so I'm going to do a zigzag pattern with strokes like this around the entire hat. I can go over the black, it's not going to show anyway. This is all transparent colors, by the way. I don't use opaque colors, just black, opaque black. I'm going over it again, try to make it a little more symmetrical. Some light areas and some dark areas, I want to kind of make it more symmetrical. And with this design, if you wanted to, you could take it all the way to the top. So you cover the entire hat. It's an easy design to do that. All right, so you still have some texture and some randomness in there. It shouldn't be too uniform. You know, I could have done a better job of centering this open space here. There, I'm fussing a little bit, but you know, that's what it should look like. Now, next color is going to be pink. And this is always the first color, this is always the second color. I'm going to stand back, again, 10 inches away. I want a nice even fade. I'm going to get it on some of the blue, but not all of the blue, and some of the white, but not all the white. I need space to put some yellow in here. So about 6 to 8, I'll say 8 to 10 inches away. Nice and light to start. You can see how it's starting to run into the purple, the blue, and make more of a purple color. A little more this time. I went around twice, making it darker each time. It needs a little more. There we go. Okay. So it's darkest right around the edge where it starts to touch the blue. It's the darkest, meaning I have the most amount of pink. And then it starts to fade in as you go in towards the middle and fade out as you run into the black. Nice and soft. All right, next color, third color always, it's going to be the yellow. I say always, if you're going to be using these colors, it goes in this order, dark to light. I'm going to try to leave a little bit of white space in the middle here. I want 3 colors, white, yellow, orange. And don't want to cover too much of the pink. I don't want the whole thing to be orange. I want some pink to show. So be careful. All right, so now you have all the colors represented: purple, blue, pink, orange, yellow, white. Let's do one more color, green. I'm gonna fade, again, I'm way back on this one, 10 inches at least. And I'm just gonna dust the pink on here. I don't wanna go too much. I'm not trying to make it green. I'm trying to make it more like a teal color. So really light. I'm not running it into the purple. I'm avoiding the purple. And you can see the effect. It's sort of like a teal green. So I have a lot of colors in here, but I only picked up 4 airbrushes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. No, 3 airbrushes. All right. Last thing I'm going to do is the name. Again, if you have trouble with the bottle bumping the bill of the hat, spin the bottle to the side so it looks like this. Another thing you might see me do is, if I want to keep my hand away from the project, like I don't want to grab the bottle like I normally do to leave space, sometimes I just use my finger. I'll just lightly touch it. That helps to stabilize my hand and make more smoother lines. Like using 2 hands is easier than using 1. But I don't have to take up a lot of room. I can just steady myself. All right, Sophia. I do it a number of different ways. Sophia. A lot of times when I do the underline, I don't want to run into letters. So I'll do 2 lines. Boop, boop. I'll go a dagger stroke this way, a dagger stroke that way. Less confusion, less jumbling of letters. Easier to read. If I do embellishments like this, I try to keep them thin. It could have been even thinner so that it looks more like an embellishment and less like part of the letter, because then it'll just be hard to read, like, what letter is that? So I understate it. I didn't really do a good job, like I said, with that one, but that's okay. Dotting eyes with hearts is optional, obviously. You don't want to do that for some of the boy designs. Some boys may want it. I understand. Most do not, so just be aware. And you can fill it in with a color. I chose to use black on this one. If you're going to use a color, again, I would use the same color you're using to drop shadow, which is, in this design, purple, fluorescent purple. I think it's really easy to overdo the amount of paint you use for the blue, especially if you're not using hot blue, which is on the lighter side, I guess. They make blues that are much darker than this. If you use this color blue, I think you're going to be fine, but you can still put too much, right? You don't want to oversaturate the blue. And that goes the same for color purple, because they are both dark colors. And if you put really dark backgrounds with black lettering on top, it becomes harder to read. Imagine you're standing in a room, a dimly lit room, and you're squinting your eyes and you're trying to read what's on this person's hat, but it's dark. And so everything on his hat just looks dark. So we want to try to avoid that. We want the contrast of the black lettering on top of the background. So a lighter touch when doing backgrounds is key. And that's design number 8.